I said I was never gonna do this movie? I've been watching this movie a lot lately. Alright, so if you know me personally, especially when I was in middle school, you'll know that a High School Musical was a landmark movie for me. Especially the second one. There are several reasons why I was obsessed with High School Musical as a kid. And I'll get into one of them much later on. Without further ado, here's my review of High School Musical. Okay, so the story begins on New Year's Eve. Troy Bolton is on Christmas vacation, and he bumps into Gabriella, who's also on Christmas vacation. Now, they meet by chance. They are randomly selected to sing together at a young adults party.
You know what? Someday you guys might thank me for this. Or not.
But anyway, after they're randomly selected to sing together, they sing the first song of the entire franchise, Start Us Something New. And honestly, it is a pretty good song to start the movie with. Now, then it cuts to like a week later, and everyone just goes back to school, and Troy, it turns out that he's a very popular basketball player. In fact, he's a captain of the basketball team at his high school. And get this, Gabriella just so happens to transfer there. What an unbelievable coincidence. Troy starts showing her around, and you find out that he doesn't tell his friends about him singing. And him and Gabriella start wondering whether or not they should sign up to audition for the Winter Musicale. And so that's when you're introduced to Sharpay Evans, Ryan Evans, Taylor McKessie, and Chad Danforth. And you find out that Chad is even more obsessed with basketball than Troy is, but I'll get to that later. And because he's so obsessed, like, he makes it clear, and quite a few characters make this clear, that they think that if you are a basketball player like Troy and Chad, that's your thing. And if you're a math geek like Taylor and Gabriella, that's your thing. You do not do other things. And so that's why Troy and Gabriella go out of their way to not tell their friends they're gonna audition. They just barely make it to the audition. They get a call back, and everyone starts freaking out, especially Sharpay. This can't be true. This can't be true. Honestly, I'm so frustrated. I might as well go back to the Tipton and hang out with Zach and Cody. Then Chad and Taylor decide to try to break Troy and Gabriella up by forcing him to say stuff he would never say. Basically forcing him to say that the musical means nothing, Gabriella meant nothing, and blah 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 blah. And it works at first, and then Chad and Taylor go and fix it. And honestly, kind of a big move when you think about it. And then once, they get back together and all that, then Sharpay and Ryan convinced Ms. Darvis to move the callbacks to the night of the big game, the last game of the season, the last basketball game of the season, and the math competition that Gabriella is a part of. Both events happening the same night, coincidentally. The same night as the callbacks are moved to. what? Somehow, they don't get in trouble because the science nerds actually hack the basketball game to make everything like wonky, and the Scholastic Decathlon or whatever it's called is paused because of a chemical reaction, which honestly they should have lost because of that. Anyway, Troy and Gabriella, as well as the entire math league and the basketball team, all make it to the auditorium to see the callbacks, and that's when they sing my absolute favorite song from the entire franchise, Breaking Free. I swear, the first time I heard it, I'm like, holy shit, this is a banger. And it's a duet from a musical on Disney Channel. Holy shit. But anyway, it all works out. They get their parts. You know, everyone respects Troy and Gabriella for doing their own thing, even their parents, and then everyone goes back to the gym. The Wildcats win the big game, which, by the way, fun fact, their motto, "Get your head in the game," does not become their motto until after the song is sung. Really think about that. And then obviously the Math League wins their competition. Then everyone gets together in the gym and sing "We're on this together." And honestly, one of the funniest moments in the entire series, the basketball player Zeke, who makes Sharpay cookies, gives them to her, and literally the last few seconds of the movie, he's, sad in the gym. All of a sudden, Sharpay comes in and she's like, "The cookies are amazing. They're the best cookies I've ever had in my life." And she runs towards him and hugs him like, "Can you please make me more?" And he's like, "Maybe I can make you creme brulee." So the story, for the most part, doesn't make any sense. But whatever, it's a Disney Channel musical, so whatever, I love it. Alright, so Troy, as I said, is obsessed with basketball, and he hides his passion for singing from everyone but Gabriella, because you can't really hide it from someone you're singing with. And so he kind of has this identity crisis throughout the movie, which honestly, you gotta have to feel bad for the guy, considering that his best friend Chad is literally like...
You ever think LeBron James and Shaquille O'Neal auditioned for their school musical?
But what would I know? I took ballet lessons as a kid. I swear Chad always has a basketball with him. He's that obsessed with the sport. Chad comes around, as I said, which is good. It's always good to have a friend like Chad. Once you get past the dick move that they did, he's actually a really good guy. And overall, he just really cared about Troy. And the same thing with Taylor. And Sharpay, I swear she's my least favorite character in the entire franchise, because her character arc is the same in every freaking movie of the franchise. She starts out as a mean girl, like Regina George, and when something doesn't go her way, she freaks out like, Yeah, you think that joke from earlier was just me goofing around? That's literally her reaction. It's literally her reaction. And of course, Ryan's only reaction, him being dim-witted, is like, "Maybe we're unpunked. Ashton, where are you? Ashton!" Ah! Honestly, Ryan's actually a really nice guy once you get past, the fact that he's related to the she-devil. Sharpay is so selfish and so determined to be the queen bee that she would knock Troy and Gabriella's chance of even having a chance to compete with her out. She overall convinces the drama teacher to move the date of the callbacks to the same night that the two people that dared audition for the same thing that her and Ryan auditioned for have their own thing going on. She's a villain. Just no. And of course, Ms. Darbus is no better. She's the theater-obsessed teacher who has it out for Troy's dad, and she cannot stand cell phones. Phone? Don't you know how to behave in a theater? The theater must become your religion, which I will now force on you. You will love the theater. And, was that another cell phone? Yeah, you think I'm joking around with that. No, that's literally how she is. And my absolute favorite character, Gabriela Montez, played by... Sorry. Ever since I was 8 years old, I've had the biggest crush on Vanessa Hudgens. I mean, like, seriously, look at this woman. She is the epitome of beautiful. I hated Zac Efron for years because they were dating. And then once I learned later on that, like, you know, Zac Efron was dealing with his own stuff, like drugs, drinking, and that's what drove her to basically say, I can't do this anymore, we're done. Then I started to sympathize with him, and thankfully he's clean. So good on you, Zach. What I didn't like was obviously Sharpay's sabotage of Troy and Gabriella, and Chad and Taylor breaking them up. It's like, you know, people are allowed to do their own thing. Whoever wrote this movie really doesn't know how high schoolers think. Just, what the hell? And another thing that I don't like is not really the movie's fault, but it's just people in general's fault. Okay, so everyone thinks, hold up. Everyone thinks that it's Zac Efron singing when Troy is singing. At the beginning of Start of Something New and Breaking Free, when he sounds like raspy at first and then he goes into like crystal clear perfect pitch. When he goes into the perfect pitch, that's Drew Seeley you hear, because apparently Zach could not hit the high notes, and honestly I can't blame him. Those are very hard notes to hit. And thankfully in the sequels, that's Zac Efron. That is Zac Efron's voice. And honestly, I'm kind of jealous of his hair in these movies. Alright, final thoughts. This was a fun movie to review. This was a fun movie to watch. In fact, I love this movie so much. All this you see, I wrote it in like less than 20 minutes. That's how much I love this movie. I've seen it that many times. Just good on the cast, good on Kenny Ortega. I just love revisiting these movies because they were my childhood. And, you know, when we lived in Texas, I watched High School Musical 2 on repeat so many times it's not even funny. Because it really helped me get through the, you know, the phase of like, you know, not wanting to move and just pretty much begging my parents, can we please stay? Can we please stay? Can we please stay? I don't want to start over in North Carolina. Turns out the move was exactly what I needed, because I was arrogant, and I'm glad that I learned my lesson. And during the time that it took me to finally just accept that, hey, I can't do anything about it, High School Musical 2 got me through it, and when I watched High School Musical 1 for the first time, like after High School Musical 3 came out, believe it or not, I was just blown away, because I know I've said in the past that I like the soundtracks but not the movies. Rewatching them again, I've come around. I really like these movies. And I can't stand Sharpay for obvious reasons, but whatever, she's the villain. You're not supposed to like her. And anyway, I absolutely love this movie, and I'm glad I got to review it. So until next time, stay positive and stay awesome, everyone. See ya.